All right, let's talk about nursing homes. We got to talk about something that touches every single family. We're about to pull the curtain all the way back. We're going to share some hard-learned lessons, some real talk from the folks on the inside. Go on and hit that subscribe button for the Wise Reflections channel. Click that little bell so you don't miss a thing. We need your voice in the comments. We need your stories, because that's how we all get a little bit wiser. It's time to bring it out into the open. We're talking about the 7 hard truths, the things you need to know. This isn't to scare you. This is to arm you with knowledge. Let's get into it. This is elderly wisdom. The first hard truth: it's the loss of independence. You spend your life fighting for independence, driving your car, picking your clothes, deciding what to eat. Being a grown-up is about being the king or queen of your own castle. But in a nursing home, your clock don't work no more. Suddenly, your time is their time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, bathing, medication, activities, all scheduled. Even simple things like wanting coffee at midnight require asking. That loss of control over basic parts of your day can be jarring. These choices are expressions of who you are. When someone else makes those choices, you feel less like a person. Now let's talk about the keys to your car and your front door. For so many, a driver's license symbolizes freedom. It meant you could go where you wanted, when you wanted. When you move into a nursing home, you hand over those keys. Suddenly your world shrinks. That freedom to just go is gone. In a nursing home, your room might have a door, but it ain't really yours to control. Staff can come in whenever they need to. You're no longer the one holding the keys to the kingdom. That feeling of powerlessness is a hard pill to swallow. All right, let's move on to the next hard truth. And this one right here, this one goes straight to the heart. It's that deep, gnawing feeling of isolation. Now, you can be in a room full of people and still feel completely and totally alone. You know what I'm talking about. Isolation ain't about the number of bodies around you. It's about the connection you feel or the connection you've lost. You spend a lifetime building your world, your home, filling it with memories, with familiar sights and sounds. The squeak of that one floorboard. The way the sun hits your favorite chair in the afternoon. Then, overnight, you're picked up and put down in a place that is completely foreign. The smells are different. It smells like disinfectant and institutional food, not your grandmama's cooking. The sounds are different. It's the beeping of machines and the rolling of carts, not the sound of your grandkids running through the yard. Every single thing that your senses relied on, the things that told you you are home, they're all gone. You are, for all intents and purposes, a stranger in a strange land, surrounded by other strangers. And that feeling can be one of the most profoundly lonely experiences a person can have. And let's talk about your people. Your neighbours of 20 years who you'd chat with over the fence, the mailman you'd wave to every single day, the cashier at your local grocery store who always asked about your family. These are the little connections that make up a community, that make you feel like you belong somewhere. When you move into a nursing home, that entire web of casual, comfortable relationships is just gone. You're separated from the very fabric of the life you wove for yourself, and you're expected to start all over again from scratch. At an age when making new friends ain't exactly the easiest thing to do, it creates a silence. Not an outer silence, because these places can be noisy, but an inner silence. The phone doesn't ring with a neighbour calling to see if you need anything from the store. There's no unexpected knock on the door from a friend who was just in the neighbourhood. The daily, spontaneous interactions that make you feel seen and connected to the world, they fade away. And in that quiet, that's where the isolation really takes root. It's a loneliness that echoes, a feeling of being disconnected from the world you once knew so well. Now, the biggest piece of this isolation puzzle, the one that hurts the most, is the separation from family. For your whole life, family is the anchor. They're the ones who are just there. They come over for Sunday dinner. They pop in to watch the game. The grandkids leave their toys all over your living room floor. Your house is the hub, the centre of gravity for the whole family. It's filled with the chaos and the laughter and the love that makes a house a home. It's a living, breathing thing. But when you're in the home, that dynamic flips on its head. Now you're the one who has to be visited. You're no longer at the centre of the action. You're a destination. And life, as you know, is busy. Your kids have jobs, your grandkids have school and soccer practice. Those easy, spontaneous drop-ins become scheduled, planned events. We'll come see you on Sunday from 2 to 4. And you sit there and you watch the clock, waiting for that 2-hour window of connection. And then just as quickly, it's over. The silence returns. And that empty chair in your room feels a whole lot bigger after they leave. You miss the little things. You miss the everyday nonsense. You miss hearing about your daughter's bad day at work right when she gets home. You miss helping your grandson with his homework at the kitchen table. You're no longer a participant in the daily rhythm of your family's life. You're a spectator who gets the highlights once or twice a week. You hear the stories second-hand, and there's a deep, painful loneliness in knowing that life, their life, is moving on without you right there in the middle of it. It's a feeling of being left behind that is just devastating. And here's the hardest part. Sometimes visits become less frequent. Life gets in the way. It's not that they don't love you, Lord knows they do, but the logistics are harder. It's a trip. It's a whole event. And you start to feel like a burden, like an obligation on their to-do list. So maybe you tell them not to come, to save them the trouble, even though it's the one thing you want most in the world, that separation, that physical and emotional distance from the very people who define your world is the cruelest form of isolation there is. Let's talk about privacy. Imagine living in a goldfish bowl. Everybody can see in. It's that feeling of always being watched. In a nursing home, you might have a roommate you didn't pick. The door that used to be your shield, now it feels like a revolving door. Privacy is dignity. It can make you feel less than. It's a constant negotiation between your need for personal space and the facility's need for supervision. Staff are there to keep you safe, but that translates to constant supervision. They make sure you take your pills, don't fall, and are eating. This means constant interruptions. You could be napping or on a call, and here they come. You're in a community now with other residents. There's no lock that keeps the world out. It's a shared space. It's a constant stream of noise and activity, the opposite of peace and quiet. This can lead to frustration, anxiety, and even depression. Elders trade autonomy for safety, a heavy price. It chips away at your sense of self and dignity. All right, now let's talk about the adjustment. You'll remember the first day at a new school. You didn't know nobody, you didn't know where the cafeteria was, you didn't know the rules. You just felt lost and awkward, right? Well, multiply that feeling by about 1,000. And that's what it can feel like for an elder moving into a nursing home. It is a world-rocking, ground-shaking, life-altering change. Everything, and I mean everything, is new. The bed ain't your bed. The food ain't your food. The schedule, it sure ain't your schedule. It's a total system shock. You've left behind the home you might have lived in for 30, 40, maybe 50 years. Every crack in the sidewalk, every squeaky floorboard, every neighbour's dog that barks at midnight. That was your world. That was your comfort zone. Now you're in a place with new smells, new sounds, new faces everywhere you look. You have to learn a whole new set of rules, a whole new routine that is not your own. Breakfast is at 7:30, not when you feel like it. Lunch is at noon, dinner is at 5, like it or not. That kind of rigid structure can feel like a cage when you're used to the freedom of your own life. And then there's the people. Oh Lord, the people. You've got to navigate a whole new social scene. It's like high school all over again, but with walkers and hearing aids. You've got the cliques, you've got the gossips, you've got the grumpy ones who sit in the corner and stare at the wall. You've got to figure out who to trust, who to talk to, who to avoid. For someone who's had their circle of friends for decades, trying to make new connections at 85 years old can be one of the most exhausting and intimidating things in the world. It takes a whole lot of energy that, frankly, you might not have to spare. This adjustment period isn't just a few days or a few weeks. For some, it can last for months. For others, that feeling of being an outsider, of not quite belonging, it might never fully go away. It's a constant state of trying to fit a lifetime of habits and preferences into a pre-packaged box that wasn't designed for you. It's a daily struggle to find your footing on unfamiliar ground. And that struggle, that constant feeling of being off balance, can take a real toll on a person's spirit. Moving into a nursing home involves grief, the loss of their home, the loss of independence, the loss of the life they knew. That person is gone. a profound loss that can look like depression, anger, or withdrawal. They're processing a monumental life change, saying goodbye to a chapter requiring time to mourn. Small rituals that made up their daily existence are ripped away, adding to their grief. Approach them with compassion and patience. Listen, let them share memories and acknowledge their pain. Recognizing and validating grief helps them navigate this transition and start a new chapter. All right, let's get real for a minute. Let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to nursing homes: the quality of care. This is the number one worry for most families, and for good reason. You're putting the well-being of someone you love into the hands of strangers. You're trusting that they will be cared for with the same love and attention that you would give them. But the hard truth is, that's not always the case. And a big part of the problem comes down to staffing. These facilities are often understaffed. That's just a fact. You've got hard-working nurses and aides, bless their hearts. They are doing the best they can, but they're stretched thinner than a rubber band on a watermelon. They might be responsible for 10, 15, sometimes even more residents at a time. Think about that. How can one person give quality, personalized attention to that many people, all with different needs? Somebody needs help getting to the bathroom. Somebody else needs their medication. Another person is confused and wandering, and someone just needs a friendly face to talk to for a minute. It's an impossible juggling act. Because they're so rushed, things can get missed. A call light might not get answered right away. A resident might have to wait a long time for help. And when you're elderly and in pain or need to use the restroom, a few minutes can feel like an eternity. It can lead to accidents. It can lead to feelings of neglect and frustration. It's not that the staff don't care. It's that they are physically and emotionally overwhelmed. They are trying to bail out a sinking boat with a teaspoon. The system is setting them up to fail. And unfortunately, it's our elders who pay the price for it. This isn't just about comfort either. This is about health and safety. Understaffing can lead to serious medical errors. A missed medication, a wrong dosage, a failure to notice the early signs of an infection or a serious illness. When the staff is overworked and exhausted, the risk of these mistakes goes way up. So while you're hoping for a place that feels like a warm, caring community, the reality can sometimes be a system struggling just to keep its head above water. And that is a terrifying thought for any family to have to face. When caregivers are rushed, care can become impersonal, a checklist. But our elders are not a checklist. They are human beings with emotional needs, a need for connection. The human element, the very thing that makes care feel like care, can get lost. This can make residents feel like tasks to be completed. This lack of personal connection is dehumanizing. As a family member, you become the watchdog. Visit often, ask questions, advocate for your loved one. It becomes a second job, a stressful one. The concern about the quality of care stems from overworked staff and a task-oriented approach that can strip away a person's dignity. And that is a burden that no family, and certainly no elder, should have to bear. Let's talk about the money. You think you've planned for retirement, then bam! The nursing home invoice hits. The sticker shock is real. It's like walking into a luxury car dealership. This is life-altering money. You see, a lot of folks spend their whole lives saving up. All for what? To see that lifetime of sacrifice get swallowed up in a matter of years, it puts a strain on everything. And don't even get me started on the hidden fees. You see the main price, you think you can handle it. But then they start pulling rabbits out of a hat. You got to ask the hard questions. You need to get a full, itemized list of every single potential charge. What happens when the nest egg runs dry? The financial strain flows to the next generation. No parent wants to be a burden, it's a heavy weight. Kids delay retirement, creating tension and resentment. Understand the guilt from both sides. This is why the conversation has to happen early, with a real plan. Look at long-term care insurance and explore every option. Don't wait for a crisis. A solid plan is the best gift you can give your children. Let's talk about regret. It's a powerful emotion, that ghost whispering in your ear late at night. When you're sitting in a nursing home, That thinking often turns to reflection and regret. These folks look back and see the moments they could have made a different turn, and that's a lonely place to be. The children feel it too. This is why listening is the most important part of this whole process. Listen with your heart. When your elderly parent says, "Oh, I'll be fine wherever," you need to stop and ask, "But Mom, Dad, what do you want?" Pushing past the easy answers to get to the hard truth is the only way to avoid a future filled with the heavy fog of regret. What's the wisdom elders want to pass on? Do your homework. Become an expert. Investigate these places. Don't just take the tour. Talk to the people who are already there. Ask them the real questions. Get the unfiltered truth. Their experiences are the most valuable research. Explore every single alternative before you sign. Look into in-home care, assisted living, or modifying your own home. A nursing home should be the absolute last resort. Cherish your autonomy. Fight for your independence. Your home is your sanctuary. Treat that decision with the immense gravity it deserves. Whew, we've been through a lot today, haven't we? We've talked about some real hard truths, the kind of truths that are tough to hear but so important to understand. Making the decision about long-term care, whether for yourself or for a loved one, is one of the biggest, most impactful choices you'll ever make in your life. It's not something to be taken lightly. It's not a conversation to have in a hurry. It requires thought, it requires patience, and it requires a whole lot of love and compassion from everybody involved. It's a journey, not a destination. I want you to take a moment right now. Just breathe. Let all this information sink in. Think about your own family, your own situation, your own future. What does this mean for you? The goal here at Wise Reflections isn't to scare you, not at all. The goal is to empower you, to give you the knowledge and the perspective you need to make the best possible choice for you and your family. Because an informed decision is a powerful decision. It's a decision you can make with confidence and peace instead of fear and uncertainty. Now, I want to hear from you. This conversation doesn't end here. The comments section down below is now open for discussion. I want you to share your stories, your experiences, your fears, your wisdom. Have you been through this with a loved one? Are you contemplating this decision for yourself? Your story could be the one thing that helps someone else who is feeling lost and alone right now. This is a community, and we learn from each other. So don't be shy. Let's talk about it. Let's help each other out. And before you go, do us a favor. If you found any value, any wisdom, any truth in what we talked about today, hit that subscribe button. Click that little bell so you don't miss out on our next conversation. We're all about sharing life's hard-earned lessons right here at Wise Reflections. Thank you for spending this time with us. Be good to each other, and remember to think with your head, but always, always lead with your heart. Until next time.